Well, welcome back to Rough Restos. Today we got something a bit different. It's Range Rover related, so it's going to be for the Turbosonics Range Rover, but it's not strictly working on the Range Rover. As you may see, I have a few materials in the background. Now, what I'm not doing is I'm not giving the Range Rover a 4-foot lift. Well, I guess I could do it, it'd be a bit DIY, a bit dodgy. But we will be using the welder a lot, potentially the chop saw and bandsaw, and probably the plasma. So I guess you're probably wondering what we're doing here. Actually no, you're probably not, because it will be in the description of the video and the title. In which case you already know what I'm doing here, so I don't really need to explain it, do I? What we're doing is, I saw on eBay, okay, I'll go back to start. So, 2-post ramp. Not ideal for a Range Rover. It does strictly say in the Land Rover manual and all that for them, you should not lift a Range Rover for a 2-post lift. You can kind of see why, because it's a 2-ton brick. It's not designed for, well, this ramp's a bit dodgy, but it's not really designed for 2-post, especially with this one, the arms just aren't big enough. The only place you can get the arms on is some suspension components below, which you should not jack off of, and it's really sketchy. So one of our jobs is, the pads have M30 threaded holes, so we've got 12.9 high tensile M30 threaded bar, and we're going to use this to make 4 new lifting pads specifically for the Range Rover, which will go as like cups onto the chassis, as opposed to being pads on the suspension and just being with blocks of wood in. Yes, so that way I can at least lift it kind of safely. It'll still be obviously sketchy and a bit wobbly on this thing. It needs to be bolted down more really, and add some extra supports, which will be happening, but not yet. So at least it's going to be safe and safe to take it up. But when it's up in the air, obviously it's not, although you're fine underneath it, I wouldn't want to be doing much to it. It's just it rocks too much. It's not great. I wouldn't say it's safe, and especially not going to be safe if I'm going to be working on a lot of the suspension, clean up the underside and all the future plans that's going to be coming in the near future for the Range Rover. So rather than risk it and just, yeah, don't even want to go down that, it's got to be safer. Hence this. So I looked online, and you can buy, I might picture them now maybe in the video, you can buy a set of 4 2-ton jack stands, which are up sort of at the I think about 1.25 metre mark, for about 300 quid for a set of 4, which isn't bad, I would say. But if you look at them, they really aren't that, they don't look that well built. They're not very sturdy. I would say they're built as cheaply as they possibly can to get away with that 2-ton limit, which is all good, but I thought I could do better. So, and obviously being cheaper, I thought if there's any way I can save money, there isn't, because this here is going to basically cost the exact same amount. Potentially depends how much welding gas I use, and that it could be just under the price. Not sure yet. But what we've got here is we've got 4 acrow props. Now these are size 0 acrow props. They go between 1.2 metres and 1.8 metres. They're each rated at 3 tons per piece. So obviously more than capable, 4 of them holding up the Range Rover, no problem at all. But of course, it's all good them holding them up, but I need some kind of stability. You know, if they're just sitting on 4 poles, you're going to push the thing and it's just going to topple off the poles. No good. So in terms of adjustment, stability, weight, bearing and all that, spot on. Really good start. I think I paid about £27 for each of these, all 4 including postage. So cost-wise, fantastic. Not a problem at all, and I couldn't make them for that money anyway. So I thought I'd buy the acrow props to start with. That's a really easy start for the middle. It saves a lot of like fabricating, and I was looking into possibility of buying like 4 decent jack stands and then making bigger bases for them. But then this here, I've got big amount of adjustment. So I want to be using it on the Range Rover at sort of this height, sort of 1.2 metres ish. But if I need to, if I want to maybe hold up an exhaust nut, I've got 1.8 metres of capability here. So I can use them for all sorts. I can use them as supports on a Capri and every other vehicle on the ramp. It's up at full height. So instantly a lot more useful and a lot stronger than what I can buy. But of course we need some stability. So we need some kind of frame at the bottom to take the sort of side to side load and make it stable and safe. So where this comes in. I'd say I've slightly over-engineered it, but at the same time I haven't gone too keen. So I've ordered up all the steel. We've got 4 3-metre lengths of 40 by 20 by 2 box. So that's going to be for the side riggers, which I think should be more than ample, strength-wise. For the base, we've got 40 by 40 by 3 angle. So again, that should be ample. And then just for extra little supports to weld in there and things like that, I've got some 20 by 3 bar for top, and I've got 25 by 3 mil bar to sort of tie some bits in the middle. So I think that should be ample. I've got other bits kicking around if I need it, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be good. So we've got the Stallworks AC/DC TIG, plasma and inverter welder all in one. Good unit, to be fair. I haven't mastered the TIG yet, but everything else on it works spot on. So for the money and the warranty, that's excellent bit of kit. Got my old SWP welder, which is basically just a Sealy Clark, they're all the same thing. Welder, excellent bit of kit. Depends what cuts we need to do. We've got the Metabo metal saw, which is, again, a really big bit of kit. And then, hasn't impressed me too much yet, but it is good. I've got some better blades to go on it to try. We've got the Parkside bandsaw. So I think, drop a little plan in a minute and then we best get fabricating. So it's going to be something along the lines of, I'm not sure if you can see this. Yep. So we're going to have the acrow prop in the middle, thread a bit, and then turn the line a bit, that might help. So you've got that. The top pad will keep like that, but I'm hoping to build another pad that bolts on, which will have like a chassis cup on it, and then at least on the front, I think potentially the back as well, I can also then have 2 holes and put a pin or a bolt through this so it's locked on to the front chassis. And then as you come down to normal base, and we are aiming for something, depending on how much steel we need, 3 to 4 of these outriggers coming out in that box, mounted sideways along them lines. And I am planning on making an entire angle base, so rather than have just pads on it, and then try and tie it into the frame and tie it together, I think it'd be stronger if I use the angle to make an entire box around the base, if it makes sense, so that it's all completely tied together that way. And then we'll have something along the lines of the 20mm flat bar, halfway up, 2/3 up, something like that, tie in from each box to box, and then the 25mm flat bar from the acrow in the middle out to each box as well, like that. I think that'll be strong enough. There's only one way to find out, is to do it, isn't it, really? So we'll crack on with that now and start fabricating and just see kind of where I end up with that. I'm not sure how it's going to go, so it's going to be a lot of measuring and sussing out to start with before I know what I can do. I think I've got a plan now. So I think if we make based off the measurements here of what we can stand up to without affecting the thread on the acrow prop, we can do a 750 drop down, which is fine, because 750, we can do 4 of them. That's 1 length of box, and we've got 4 lengths of box, so 1 per stand. So that's perfect. And then if we do a 750 drop, I reckon we can do a square section of angle, to which if we do 400 length sides, that would then give us our box that we need to support on the ground, and that would be 1600mm-ish per stand, but I've got 3 lengths of that, so although it's going to be 2 and a bit lengths of angle, I think it should work. So we'll give it a go. Right, well, I changed my mind during cutting it up. It turns out it's a pain in the ass to cut up because my metal chop saw only does 45 one way, which is fine if it was a piece of equal box because you can flip it around, but can't flip this around. So, yeah, unless I made like a jig for it or something like that, but just can't be asked to do that, so yeah. And then I realised I set it up wrong and adjusted it wrong, so I've actually got some gaps in it, but that doesn't matter. We'll ignore that for now. what we'll do in a minute now is we're going to try weld this one together and then measure it up and see how this pans out. Okay, so that's the last two bases fabbed up. They don't have to be perfect, just have to be close enough. I could have spent time getting the exact angle set right on the metal saw, and then I could have made a jig so I could reverse these upside down and cut the other angle the same way, instead of doing it all by grinder, but I just cracked on and got it done anyway. So, gaps don't need to be perfect because it's been migged. So, not like a TIG setup. So 4 of them, well, 2 of them tacked together, the other 2 over there, which I'll show you a bit later on. I've already tacked together the first 2 stands, so now it's just the last 2. Stupidly, what I was meant to do is I made one of the uprights, and then I copied that to do an X3 for stand, and then saved one and copied that to do the next stand, and then I got a bit carried away and tack welded all the second stand together without making another upright to copy from. So luckily enough, I've still got two of the profiles of what they need to be. So I best measure the other profile, measure length for the other upright, and then I can replicate it and make another 8 of them. And then we can prep the props and start tacking all that together. I think so far it's going pretty well. Seemed like quite a strong, good stand. But I guess the only way to find out, we want to put a few tons on them. But, oh well, let's crack on. So that is an upright. It was 2 mil 3 box. Either way, plenty strong enough. That's, yeah, probably overkill by far, but I'd rather that than something that collapses. So that is an upright. Well, the right thing to do would be to mock up another stand, check it all fits correctly before I go cut the other 7 of them. But no, let's just go cut the other 7 of them. What's the worst that could happen, eh? So I'm going to cut the other 7 of these now, get them ready to go, and then we'll have 2 bases, 7 stands, so we can then prep the acrow props. Well, that's all 4 of them now tacked together. As you may have noticed in the previous time lapse, I had a slight issue with one of them. Turns out not all these bases on these props are true and square. So I put one together, I was like, that doesn't look right. Measured up my sides, they're equal length, so why aren't they meeting on the acrow prop at the same point? They were near enough. Turns out it's because the acrow prop's quite pissed. Oh. So I had to beat it with a hammer and straighten it back. It was actually this one, to be fair. Beat it around with a hammer and get it a bit straighter. But that's now all 4 of them done. I've got a bunch of grinding dust in my eyes, so I could do with getting maybe some kind of safety goggles. Don't really use PPE much, but that much grinding and that is kind of handy. Anyway, so I've got my brace in the middle, got the braces tacked in the bottom. See our angle and then a box. Now I'm tempted, just for an extra bit of well, one, looks, and two, it would just be a bit more support. To gusset just these sections of all of them. But I'm going to quickly try maybe do a bit of CAD, a bit of cardboard design, and see how feasible it is, because I don't want to make a custom gusset for everyone, because these are, none of them are quite match perfect. They're all a bit different, you know. I haven't been going keen with it. It's just, yeah, cut this, do that, it will run film, yeah. Not too worried about that. But I just want to make sure if I cut some gussets, I'm not going to have to make a custom gusset for every single little point, because I'm just not doing that. No, not with 16 of them. So I want to see if I can make a one-size-fits-all gusset with a plasma, and hopefully I can be even lazier and cut out a few at once, maybe. Stack the sheets up. So we'll just quickly see on this minute if we can make some kind of gusset that'll fit this. I'm kind of hoping so. It'll look cool. Right, well, I've got me a stack of, well, I think 16 gussets. The plasma just absolutely knocks it out of the park, which was great. Must be the most I've ever used that thing so far, which, I'm glad it works so well. So, we've got all these gussets to go in here now. I guess I'm just going to go tack them round and just not be too fussy on where they end up. Something like that, I guess. Should do it. I've got 16 of them to try to put on, and then after that I think it'll be final welding, to which I'm probably not going to get finished because I'm pretty sure I haven't got enough welding gas, but I need to use up what welding gas I have got in order to take the bottle back next weekend for another bottle of gas, which is a pain in the ass. So I think for now we'll start getting these tacked on, and then we'll start final welding what we can do before I run out of gas, and then look into what paint I've got to paint them up next weekend. We'll crack on. Right, the place in a bit of a mess now. Scraps everywhere. But short of now final welding, they're all tacked together. So 4 pretty damn heavy duty stands. Well, hopefully anyway. So got the gussets in, which, to be fair, I'd imagine going to add a lot of extra strength, not that it's needed. And aesthetically it just looks cooler. So, might as well. And, oh god, yeah. I guess I best get to welding all this up then, don't I? That's going to take a while. And then we can look at making some adapters for these to go onto like the chassis rails and such with the Range Rover. And that, for illustration there, that's, well, probably on a slightly smaller side, but that's a jack stand for like a little car. I think there's no comparison there in size wise. That's very, very different. Not sure I mentioned before, these will range, sort of have a minimum height of about 4 foot, or sort of 1200-ish, and have a maximum height of like 6 foot or 1800-ish. So plenty big enough. They'll go from like a low working height to full height on the ramp at least. So they should be extremely handy. Although overkill, they will also hold exhaust up and all that kind of crap as well. But very overkill for that. Finally, with not sure if you can see this or not, gas wise, did a bit of focus, we've got somewhere around sort of, if that gauge is quite accurate down the bottom, then somewhere around sort of 7 bar left out of, yeah, to be fair, I did start with around 50 on this, but it's done it all. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting to run out halfway through or before then, but it's done it. So we've got 4 fully welded stands. I'll probably put the flap disc on the base, on the welds where I join the corners of the bases, just to tidy up a tiny bit, but nothing will be done to the rest of the welds. The main thing is they're strong, which they are. Not sure you can see, to be fair. I wasn't looking to make any welds pretty. One, because it's just extra time, skill, and I'm not a fabricator. I'm an electrician. But they're all like that. Some had multiple passes in order, because although I got 180 amp welder, it couldn't keep up. I had it on full wire feed speed and full voltage, and I had to make a couple passes, normally over most of them, to get enough material down. But penetrating wise, it's yes. Yeah, this thing is absolutely solid. No doubt about that. The welds might not look perfect or super pretty, or like they've been done by a robot, but they don't have penetrated. They've done well. So these things aren't going anywhere. They're pretty damn insane. And pretty heavy as well, which is good. So that's the bulk of the work done. On to the next bits, which is now going to be the next video. So I think I might as well wrap up there now. I've already got tons of footage doing all this, so it's one video is just not enough. But if you happen to have liked it, and yeah, or maybe you think I've fucked up somewhere massively, or that I'm being a retard, then why not drop a comment? Tell me if you think it's alright. Tell me if you think I've messed up somewhere and it's going to collapse before I even touch them. Yeah, if you want to see more, probably not, well, bits more fabrication, but mostly sort of videos on my project cars, so the twin turbo Cosworth Capri, or the 20 valve turbo Golf, or the Turbo Technics Range Rover Classic, plus normally a few mates / customers cars as well being worked on, then why not subscribe? Follow the channel, maybe share this on social media if you want to, feel free to, I don't mind. Extra views, subscribers, good by me. And yeah, I'll see you next time for when we start prepping the top halves of these to fit on the Range Rover chassis and painting them all up. So yeah, I've been Jordan, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.